Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today we're talking about none other than Attack on Titan Season 3, Part 2, Episode 7, titled The Basement. I know I am late with this. I apologize. It's been kind of a hectic week. And E3's happening, so it will continue to be a hectic week. But yeah, sorry I didn't get this out in time. In fairness, it was not necessarily a hype episode, but we do learn quite a bit. So, I don't know. I probably should have gotten this out sooner. I am sorry. I hope you guys still enjoy it regardless. That said, let's go ahead and dig into it. The episode opens and we see a weird nightmare, quote unquote. I guess maybe like a dream of some kind that Armin is having, and it is of the Colossal Titan, or what we used to know as Bertholdt, and he's saying like it hurts or something like that. I don't quite remember. I think it was Bert. I mean, Armin says like Bertholdt, and he questions like if that was Bertholdt or not. It clearly was, but I don't know. Like you could tell they were like, he's in pain. Bertholdt's in pain. Oh, isn't this sad? Isn't this dramatic? And I was like, oh, it's so sad. Nobody cares. No one cares. No one cares. Nobody likes Bert. That's not true. I think we did know a couple people in the comments who were Bertholdt fans who maybe didn't appreciate the way I spoke about their boy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know too many Bertholdt fans myself. So me personally, I'm not a fan. So when they're like, oh, isn't it sad? Oh, poor Bert. I was like, Bert almost killed Armin and basically helped kill Irwin. So I don't really care if he's in pain. In fact, I hope he's in tremendous pain. And then or I hope he was in tremendous pain because he's dead. So I'm sorry, I don't care. That said, it was also very satisfying, and my boy Armin is alive. So I guess it's all even, Bert. We're good now. You brought my boy back to life, kind of indirectly. So it's all good. By the way, I have to say, Levi this season and like the first part of this season as well, and even like parts of season 2, Levi is such a legit good. I don't say good person, but like such a legit character. Like I really feel as though Levi has grown significantly during the course of the series, and he is, as it stands, the number one husbando left standing. It's all about Levi now. That said, I will forever and always love Irwin. A moment of silence for my boy. I'm still not really okay. It still hasn't. I don't think it's really sunk in that he's gone, because we keep getting flashbacks like to previous scenes and previous episodes where they show him, and I'm like, no, he's right there. Everything's fine. He's fine. Everything's fine. And I like that Irwin is mentioned here again, if he had just gotten to the damn basement. But we do see him being spoken about at like that like sort of council back home, back behind the walls. You see like that little council of the different groups, the different sections of the army, like chit-chatting and talking about how like they used to make fun of Irwin, but now turns out Irwin's like the real legend. And they have that line of like, well, you'll have to apologize to the man when you see him. And I was like, oh God, my heart. Now, I am assuming that at this point, anybody watching is probably pulling out their hair wondering, why isn't he talking about the basement? You'll have to forgive me. I can be a bit of a fanboy sometimes. I like talking about my husbandos and my waifus and my ships and all that, and I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and talk about the basement. Well, actually, let's not talk about the basement just yet, because first I want to point out the flashback while they're walking through the abandoned streets of their former home. That was beautifully done. I was so impressed. Like the way that when they're walking, there's like a flash of light and a younger version of themselves, like in their memory, just blasts out. Like a younger Eren runs out of our Eren, and a younger Mikasa runs out from our Mikasa, and they run down the street, and the street's fixed, and they see it the way they remember it. It's so well done. And what I really appreciate, this is gonna be kind of ironic coming from a channel called Talks Too Much, but what I super appreciate is there was no words needed. That entire scene is silent except for the music. There's the score for the scene and the visuals. That's all they needed to get across the feelings that they needed to get across. It was so impressive. Most impressive. The whole episode, by the way, this is kind of a side note, but I swear the character art, and especially the background art, were more than ever really stunning. And I don't know if maybe I'm missing something. Maybe they just really put the effort in. Maybe it's a new artist. I don't know, or new artists plural. Or what's more than likely happening is I can just notice the details better because I'm not crying, so my vision isn't blurry. But yeah, no, for some reason, like the visuals really stood out to me in this episode, so I have to hand it to the team on that front because they really, really nailed it. And of course, the music is stunning. Like I said, the score for that scene, you didn't need any words. It totally, like the visuals and the audio really carried that walk through the streets scene. It was beautifully handled. But yes, let's get to the basement. And before we get into theories and speculation, because I have several questions, I do want to point out how funny it was that like Hanji has the line of like, "Oh, what a relief. It's not flooded with water." And I was sitting there staring at the screen for like a solid couple seconds before I went, "Oh, holy shit, yeah, Hanji's right." Yeah. Oh my god, thank god it wasn't flooded with water. It was held, like, it was a wooden door. I can't believe it never flooded with water. You shouldn't have brought it up, because now my mind is going, it totally should have been flooded with water. I think that was meant to be a knock or a joke of some kind. At least that's what I'm taking away, because, like, yeah, it probably something should have happened to the basement by now, but, you know, because of plot, we needed them to get to the basement and have it be intact. But I do think it's funny that they're like, probably should have been flooded, but then we wouldn't have a plot, so we're just gonna move on. I think it was really clever. That was cheeky writing. I appreciate it. And I will say too, once they get to the basement, I want to point this out, and I'm sure people are gonna call me crazy because I've seen people like accuse me of this when I talk about color theory and stuff like that in JoJo's videos. But this is gonna be even weirder because few things in this series are accidental, and there's a shot that made me go like, oh, I feel like that's gonna come up. And there's a shot when they get to the basement of Eren and Mikasa's shadow in a spider web. And when they walk away, they even go in two separate directions. Now, symbolically, does that mean that the two are stuck in a web? Like, are they about to be caught up in the web that is Grisha's life story? And what does them walking in two separate directions mean? Are they both being, like, pulled by the webs of fate? Yes, that sounds insane, and I agree, it's probably nothing, but I just think it's good to point out the symbolism in Attack on Titan, and the symbolism in pretty much any anime and animated medium. It's a visual medium, so I do think when things change in color or when we get symbolic shots like that, I think it is worth like glancing at and trying to infer what the creators were maybe trying to say. And in this case, I do think maybe it has something to do with the fact that they just got caught up in the web that is the basement. Like, what this could mean will like forever trap these two characters. That's my guess. It probably, like I said, probably doesn't mean anything, but I like to speculate about symbolism and colors and stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. And okay, my brain exploded when we saw the box, or like, I guess like the hidden trap door thing that the key is really meant for. I love that friggin' Levi just breaks in the first door, by the way. But when they get into the basement, they actually use the key. And it's a photograph. A photograph, I might add, of what appears to be Eren's old man in his younger years with a boy with light hair. Now again, manga fans, don't say anything, because you guys didn't say anything in the last video and I appreciate it. But I think I'm pretty hot with this theory. I think I was right. That said, my goodness, it is bizarre to see blimps in the show, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, somebody didn't stick around after the credits. But yeah, we see we see blimps in the post-credits scene. This was like a Marvel movie. And what appeared to be some sort of police state and a younger Grisha, and what is happening? I don't know if it's necessarily a police state, it just looks like they are hidden behind walls. So like, this is apparently where Grisha came from, and his sister? This is getting really layered now, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that in a really good way. Like, I love that we're actually seeing a younger Grisha, and what I gather will take up a good chunk of, hopefully anyway, a good chunk of next week's episode is Grisha's backstory. Like I said, the web is enveloping them. The life story of Grisha seems to be of some importance in some way. Because, I mean, like, they do establish that they're from a poor family. Grisha was from a poor family, so I don't know how much influence they'll have, or rather he'll have. But I mean, he seemed pretty damn important based off the rest of the show, so I'd be kind of shocked if Grisha's backstory rather, something crazy doesn't happen. But I do want to point out, not only are we getting that next week, what we also seem to be getting is Eren in a cell. Could this mean? I guess maybe he's being like not court-martialed, but he's having some sort of punishment for attacking Levi. That's my best guess. Because when I first saw that, I was like, what the hell did Eren do? What did he do now? Friggin' Eren can't go 5 seconds without something happening. But yeah, the more I think about it, and I'm literally just thinking about it as I'm recording this, it probably just is that he's having some sort of, him and Mikasa are probably having some form of punishment for attacking Levi and everything. But that said, maybe it's not that. Maybe it has, and they do say in the voiceover, I believe it was Hanji doing the voiceover this week for the PV for next week. But it does sound as though something triggers Eren to be upset by what he learns about his father's past. Maybe that has something to do with why he's in the cell. I have seen, and the one thing I will say about the manga that I know is that people do say that Eren becomes a 10 times better character and much more complex, so I think we might be seeing the start of whatever that's supposed to mean. Or again, maybe I am once more looking way too far into things. And that's going to wrap up my thoughts on this week's episode of Attack on Titan. I hope you guys enjoyed. If I did have to give this episode a grade, it would definitely be an A-. I want to give it an A, but there was some slow bits. But overall, like I said, it was just a beautifully handled episode. So yeah, I'd feel comfortable giving it an A-. If you guys enjoyed today's video, then by all means, hitting that like button and sharing this video around, that would be super rad of you. And if you'd like to stick around and hear more from me, then by all means, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to join the good ones. And as always, before we go, I gotta give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier: Dominic, Urza, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Omner Garamond, Opinionated Slime, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Tristan, and Veridin. Thank you all for your continued support over on Patreon. It is very much appreciated. If you too would like to help me turn this channel into something I can do full time, then by all means go ahead and check out the link in the description to our Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can help out this channel, and it would be sincerely appreciated. And with all of that said, everybody, until our next meeting, you stay rad and don't scary.